We all come to pray, but we're back for warriors, keeping the whispers away. In suits and in skirts, we're the rebels you say, talking about life and dreaming of a different day. On the back row we stay, in the back we don't sway, just let the sermon flow. We're on the back row.
It is time for another episode of the Cultural Hall. It is an Articles of News episode. We were going to have a three-person co-hosted news, but it didn't. It fell apart at the last minute. So I am joined. No, listen, no, dang it. It's great. Now it's just you and I. Now we don't have to share. It is Molly the Ash Ashton from the still way too hot Arizona, right?
Yeah.
You guys are just roasting.
Yeah, we are. I don't think we're getting over 100 though.
Good. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, I feel like we've turned the corner. We're so close.
We here in Salt Lake, we're starting to do like the high 80s. So I actually did yard work today, first time in months, because I refused to do it Memorial Day to Labor Day. Felt great. Love being outside. Love not being hot.
Well, but you only get to do that for like a couple of months. I now get to do that for the next 6 or 9 months.
Yeah, you have the guilt of not doing it for the next 6 or 9 months. I'm like 2.5 months maybe.
That is true. Oh man.
Tell me, what is new with you?
Well,
I traveling a bit.
Yep. So we had this whirlwind trip. We went to BYU game. We then took a red eye to New York, spent 10 hours in New York, a red eye to London, spent a few days in London, and then flew back to Utah for another BYU game. So it's been a whirlwind last 9 days, and it was really fun.
You are our good luck charm. You better go to the next one and the next one.
I'm going to all of them. Actually, I'm missing the one October 3rd because I'll be out of town, but I'm going to all the rest of the home games. It's been so fun. And you know what is so fun? I didn't realize that Bear's brother was named Tiger.
Yes.
Which is so fun. And then when Rider Lions comes, we're going to have Lion, Tigers, and Bears. Maybe you and Verlin have mentioned that, probably, but
I am very offended that you think that this is an original thing that you have come up with, because I have mentioned it on multiple episodes. Shame on both of us.
It's so funny because I listened to all the articles of news. I haven't listened to the last one. I haven't had time, but I don't know. It just dawned on me at the first game. I'm like, oh, Lions, Tigers, and Bears. That's cool.
My. And here's the thing. You know it. I know it. Anyone who listens to the Culture Hall knows it. But you know who has not seemingly capitalized on it at all?
The
football. Yeah, the media. Yeah. The media with it. None of that. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Is it too low-hanging fruit?
I guess, but
have we moved on? Are we wicked and we don't pay homage to the original, to the OG? Is that what it is?
I guess so. I don't know. But yeah, we've had 2 good games. It was super fun. We ended up, after the Saturday game, it ended at like midnight. And so we drove up to Salt Lake, got to a gas station at like 1:30 a.m. and we slept in our rental car for like 4 hours. And
yeah, you did. That sounds miserable.
I know. It was my son, my 22-year-old is like, wait, are you kidding? Like, we're sleeping in the car. I'm like, yeah, we have like 4 hours. I'm not getting a hotel. And my brother-in-law was like, come stay with us. I'm like, no, I'm not disturbing you at 1:30 in the morning just to then get up at 4:30 to go to the airport, because I had to teach primary on Sunday morning. So it has really been, we live a very fun life, but it does come with some sacrifice.
Yeah, no, I hear the sacrifice. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your sacrifice.
Well, and I have to tell you, my daughter, so we took our 2 oldest to London, and my daughter mentioned to someone on Sunday that I basically starved them the whole time because I'm so frugal and so cheap. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, you can buy your own food. She's like, you only eat this like once a day, which is not true. But when I travel, I do tend to do like one big meal and then eat, beef sticks and protein bars. Like I'm always fully with that stuff. So anyway, I'm a good time when we travel. It's really fun.
Yeah, you do one great meal. You know what? How old is that daughter that was complaining a little bit?
19.
Yeah. She has a job. She has a job, and the first number of her age is almost a 2. So maybe it's okay. Maybe it's all right.
I mean, the kids just like to tease their mom, and it's fine. I can take it anytime. But I have to tell you the funniest thing, my 22-year-old son, at the end of the trip, he said, so like in London, you have the tube and you just tap in and tap out. So you tap your credit card or your phone or whatever. So we're all doing that. And at the end of the trip, he's like, so are you going to Venmo me for all of my transportation fees? And my 19-year-old about fell on the floor. She's like, Hayden, are you kidding me? Yeah. Mom just gave you this amazing trip and you want her to pay for your tube fees? I think you can handle that.
Right.
So that funny. I'm glad that she called him out on that. But I
Did
just
you
don't,
pay for his tube fees though? Be honest.
did I? No, I'm not
Yeah.
paying for
Oh,
two fees.
good, good,
No.
good.
Wow.
What I thought that was going to be is that your daughter called him out and you're like, yeah, I'd send him a Venmo.
No, I'm not a pushover in that way. I really make my kids take care of their own stuff.
Good.
But we saw, I know you like theater. We saw MJ while we were there, which is our seventh time seeing MJ. It's one of my favorite shows.
Incredible show.
So good. And then we saw Evita with Rachel Zegler. And I am telling you, that girl can sing. And we were in like the fourth row. I don't know why we had such great seats. We got them a long time ago. And it was a remarkable performance. I wish they would bring it to Broadway. It was a really interestingly done, modernized version of Evita. And it was very moving, really, really good. So we saw that.
Well, yeah, you can know that if it makes a lot of money there,
Yeah.
it will come to Broadway here in the States for sure.
I just can't imagine it with anyone but her. She
Mm.
just killed that role. It was incredible. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. Now I'm back home for a few weeks and just working a ton. So
I'm sorry.
I know it's I need everyone to know that I do work very hard. And in fact, I work really hard when I'm away. I'm up really late doing things and whatnot. So anyway,
You know
yeah,
what? If people have issues, they are those people's issues, was what I was trying to say.
so true. So true.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Well, I mean, weekends are horrible for the next couple weeks. Not horrible like I've made poor choices, blah blah, but just a lot of work, a lot of working,
Yeah.
a lot of that kind of stuff. And so today, as we record this, this is Tuesday. Is that what today is? Yeah. I'm finally recovering from the weekend, which was hellacious, and then just gearing up to do it all again this next weekend. But I was just as my wife likes to do it, trying to control things that I shouldn't control. That's what I did for the last like hour and a half or so. What is that exactly? Well, I feel like when people own a home, there's a certain level of like care that you should take for your home.
Right.
Like, I don't need it to be immaculate. I appreciate it if it's immaculate, but I don't need it to be immaculate. But I have a certain level of like, hey, pal, maybe not like, makes me feel like I live in a sketchy neighborhood or like this clearly overwhelming problem.
Yeah.
Like maybe spend a little time and do it. And sometimes it maybe costs money and other times it's just time. And I don't know everyone's situation necessarily, but I sort of obsess over it a little bit.
Okay.
But rather than being like one of my neighbors who we have a Facebook page for our groups, she sent out a message that was like, hey, everyone, try and take a little bit better care of your yards. You're embarrassing us. What I try and do is I go to the people and I say, I'm just going to go ahead and take care of this so that it can stop bothering me. And they're like, bothering you? And I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, not like high level bothering me, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I don't want you to pay me. That's not why we're doing this. It's literally so I can go. So
Yep.
I was out trimming. There is my neighbor to the north of me. He has some bushes like we have out in front, and he has some other trees growing up through them. Weeds,
Yeah.
junk trees, because he's got the irrigation. So
Yep.
I was like, we'll be clipping those out. And then the
Yeah.
neighbor just to the north of him is wheelchair bound. And he has the irrigation canal, and all the stuff in the irrigation canal has started to grow up. And so I was like, I'm going to do that. And then I had a little bit more time. There's a guy in my ward who not doing well. He's the only guy even remotely close to my age that I like very much. Sorry, everyone that is in my ward that listens to this. And he's not doing very well. And I went over to his house, and he came out and said hello to me and is in such bad shape that he was like, I've got to go back inside. I'm sorry. And it's just miserable and sad, but I was able to go and help him out for a little bit. And I like doing that when I can, but I very rarely can.
No, that's awesome. I love that you take the time to do that. Like you said, when you have the time, then just jump in and do it. I think oftentimes, like you said, we just let it annoy us. Like, oh, I wish he'd go trim that. But like when you have the time, go do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it gives me the opportunity to get to know the people a little bit more too. So
For sure. Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, well, thanks. I didn't do it for any sort of attaboys or any of that kind of stuff, but I appreciate both the atta and the boy, which you just gave me. One last thing before we move along. Oh, unless you were going to lead somewhere else.
Well, no, I was just going to say with the 9/11, does your stake focus on like the 9/11 day of service? Do you guys do that there? It's something that down here, it's a huge thing. The first 2 weeks of September is trying to give service, and our stake is doing 911 hours of service. They just want people to kind of like write in, you know, how many hours of service they've given. So maybe
Interesting.
yeah.
Good question. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if it is it just a thing in our stake, or I didn't know if it was like
No,
a
I know lots of other places do it, but hashtag we forgot as opposed to hashtag never forget, I guess. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. I know last week they did they did this thing that got kind of rained out. They had to move it inside. It was a BLT is what they called it, not bacon, lettuce, tomato, but like bring laid up treasures. I can't remember what it stood for,
Okay.
but it was essentially like if you have stuff from your garden and you just want to come and visit with people and we're hanging out. They tried
Yeah.
to have this casual hangout thing and the rain ruined it over the weekend.
That's too
Uh, so maybe that was a service thing. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I also don't like organized service projects very much.
No, I agree with you. And that's why I actually like the way our steak has done it. Is like with your family, go find some service. Like I made 4 loaves of sourdough bread and took 2 to some friends who were going through a really hard time. And I'm like, well, that was an hour of service. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
something I could do, and I was
Yep.
something I could handle and whatnot. And it wasn't like I had to go anywhere. I could do it on my own time. And so yeah, I agree with you. Organized service projects are hard, but giving us the thought and the idea to come up with something is really kind of what they're focusing on.
Yeah. Whenever I enter an organized service project, I always feel like this. Hi guys, I'm here. I got here at 3:01. I'm leaving at 4:01. Don't try and guilt me into longer. I committed to 1 hour here. I'll do whatever it is. Like I feel the part of doing stuff on my own that I don't get when I do stuff with groups, I'm that guy that's like, "Oh, hey Dan, still got the back thing, huh? You want me to take care of that?" Like I am team, rally and joke around as far as that stuff. So I
Yeah,
like the group things for that. But
right.
like there is, and I've thought about this, they'll never do it. But I have always wanted like for people with irregular schedules, like for Salt Lake County, there are activities for church members that have irregular schedules. So
Yeah.
like instead of the nighttime elders quorum thing, we're doing breakfast at the coachman's. And
Yeah.
anyone who wants to do that, have something to go and do that. And it can be a church thing because the majority of my ward retired, first of all. But then,
Right.
second of all, anyone that isn't, it's like, well, after 5, I can do
Good.
that. And I'm like, guess when I'm working?
Yeah.
After 5.
After
So I'll see you not then.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to
Oh,
do that. And I would love to have a ward of artists. Like if you are any sort of artist, like a ward where artistic people go and worship together. They'll
that
never
would,
do that because we're the flavor in the wards, but I wish for anything in the world that I could be more than the 1 or the 2 that's in my ward.
yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I mean, I'm not an artist, so I get what you're saying though,
Yeah.
because it does fall, like certain things just fall on those people all the time, right? And
Yes.
yeah, that if you
Yeah.
have a
The last thing I was going to say, great shirt. Worth going to YouTube and subscribing to the Cultural Hall. Whatever your shirt is or blouse or dress or whatever the heck you're wearing. That, yes, that.
thank
Is
you.
it new?
It's a dress, and I went
Okay.
to the temple this morning, and I've been running around at meetings ever since. And it was so funny. Someone, I don't know, asked me where I got it. I'm like, I'm sure I got it from Amazon because I don't go shopping, but I actually got it from a mall a month ago. I was taking my daughter shopping, and I got it from J. Crew. So thank you. It's fun. Summer.
You're welcome. This is a fun thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the mall. I haven't shopped at a mall in forever,
Yeah.
but I got a gift card to the Nordstrom's, and I know it's not Nordstrom's. I just like to say it that way.
Yeah. You're one
Uh,
of those people. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I like to say it because and I like to say the before it.
At Nordstrom's.
But it's a couple $100 to the Nordstrom's, and you know what that gets you at Nordstrom's? Nothing. Nothing. It gets you nothing.
I know. It's true.
So I'm gonna venture and buy
Sure.
cologne. Buy
Great.
cologne.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
good. That's good. Yeah. You got that from your Nordstrom's gigs you've been doing?
Yes, and very important announcement that goes hand in hand with that. My wife, that is wife number 2, that is my current wife, Jessica is her name, is now my longest wife, and so she and
Woo!
we are going to go to the Nordstrom's. We may go to the cafe and get some food, but we're also going to pick out a cologne that I can
Nice.
buy with my gift card because I have to smell the way that she would like, and I'm almost out of the bottle that my first wife bought me for our my first birthday with her. So it's where things are changing, things are
Okay.
growing, and
Out with the old, in with
yeah,
the new. How long
you-
have you and Jessica been married?
It will be 6 years next month.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, touch and go there for a little while, but she is now my longest wife. She
Nice.
will also be my last wife.
Perfect. Love it.
Done. Even
You
if
know,
she
I've been-
decides not to, that she
Yeah.
will be my last one. Go ahead.
Yeah, it'll be the very last. No, I've had a lot of my friends. I've been married 25 years, and all of my friends are in that same kind of area. And just in the last like 3 months, I know I have four that are getting divorced, and I'm like, what is happening? And
You
anyway.
know, right? You know the answer, or are you just
I mean, is it the midlife crisis? Is
No.
it like the kids all leave the home? I don't
Yes.
know. I mean, I know what's happening in their particular situations, and some of them are awful and brutal and horrible. And I don't know. I just am like, I'm feeling like really lucky that I'm not in their spot. But it is hard when the kids leave the home and when things change and suddenly you have to change your relationship. And anyway.
Well, I mean, it's completely different, and you realize, like, so I have a very dear friend who I don't think that they've called it and are going to get divorced, but having the opportunity to talk to her for a bit. I mean, she got married so very young
Mhm.
that it's not necessarily like she doesn't want to be with her husband,
Yeah.
but she would like to go and experience, some of the things that she never did. And I'm not even talking about things that like you can only do that are single, but like, things that you want to go and do. And as you're married, it feels like a little off, or like you don't do that when you're married. And again,
Yeah.
these aren't like sexual improprieties or anything like that. It's just like, I want to go and travel for 3 weeks. I'd like to go and, get a job and hate that job and then get another job. And it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
in a marital relationship that has 25 years. And so the other person becomes so insecure with the changes that they go, I don't know what's happening. Why
Right.
can't you be the person that you have always been, the thing that I can rely on? And it's like, I am, but I also need this other part. That's what it is. That's 100% what it is.
That's exactly what it is. And I think that we need to, I think there's room to like keep the marriage strong and also do all those things. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I think
Yes.
it's just communication and it's understanding what we need. And I'm not going to say my husband and I are perfect, but we definitely can give each other those opportunities to grow and go where we need to go. So
Sure. And I think it's also kind of an open-mindedness within relationships too, where like, hey, you've decided that you're going to own Crumble cookie stores, right? That's what you're doing right now. You'll probably do that for a long time, but
Yeah.
you could also, in a year's time go, oh, hey, I don't feel like I want to do this anymore. And sometimes people will just be like, well, just keep going, keep doing that thing, do the thing that you've chosen to do. It's being able to go, this has been the season for this, and being able to move and adjust that not everyone can do. I'm miserable at it. Let us be very clear.
Yeah. You are miserable. Wait, no.
No, I'm miserable at
you're-
change, stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay.
I am the worst.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, you did this. Don't do this ever again, and we'll be just fine. Oh, I'm going to do this other thing. Wait, what?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So sorry about your friends. Glad to hear you and your husband are so great and all your world travels. Everything's perfect in the Ashton household.
I mean, I had a little bit of a panic attack, nervous breakdown a few weeks ago, and I cried for 4 hours. So it's not perfect, but being able to have those honest conversations and get that out, I think that's where, with my one friend that I just talked to yesterday, it seemed like that something had been building for years and years and years, and they weren't able to ever get it out. And I'm like, I'm able to get it out. I'm going to just get it out, once a year, twice a year, let it go, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. That was an interesting way that this took. I did not know we were going to go through any of this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to do the second half of Articles of News. Let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the cultural hall sense. I have a DJ company now, 6 of us strong. Great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie, I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com. Here in the second half of Articles of News, we do actual articles of news. Hit it, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
And away we go. We got through quite a few in our last news episode, me and Verlin. And the way that we did that, we just said, hey, let's do the story. And then we went through it. And then we moved on. So if there's something that needs to be talked about, we'll certainly talk about it. But otherwise, there's just a lot of these little... not ankle biter stories, but stories that you're not like, does that change my life? Is that a huge thing? Well, no, not necessarily, but it is of interest to note. Like this first story, for instance, this is sort of Mormon adjacent. The Mormon Meteor 3, the legend on the Bonneville Salt Flats, soon will park in a new Utah museum. This is full of a bunch of artifacts that are pertinent to the state of Utah. And some of them obviously members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So the Mormon Meteor is one of those land speed racers that raced on Bonneville Salt Flats. There will also be a telescope that was once used by Orson Pratt as they were making their way across the plains here to Utah. Memorabilia from the Olympics. Memorabilia from the Topaz internment camp near Delta, which is where Americans of Japanese descent were held during World War II, and all sorts of things. The Larry H. and Gail Miller Family Foundation announced that they would support it, as well as Rio Tinto and Kennecott. So,
Yeah.
cool. I like a museum. Why not?
Yeah, and it's supposed to open next year, correct?
Yeah,
I think
2026.
Yeah, I think it looks like a very interesting museum. I think it's always so great to be able to go somewhere where it like literally pertains to you and your life and what you've known and grown up on. I mean, you could go to a museum in London with, all these things, but here in Utah, like, these things. Like I went to the Olympics and I've seen films filmed in Utah. So I think that'll be actually a really fun museum when it opens.
Yeah, something to see that maybe isn't just directly religious when you make your pilgrimage here to see the Salt Lake Temple. In the open house thing, right? Another thing to be able to see. In fact, probably why they have sort of rushed it from being something we hadn't talked about at all to, here we go, let's get it and get it opening.
Totally.
The next story, the headline says upcoming because the article was from before, but this took place just this last weekend, a conference about keeping Jesus Christ at the center of church history. Tell me, did you have a chance to read any of this article?
I did. Yeah. I thought it was really interesting because it's talking about, this is for people who have found issues in church history, people who don't have issues with church history, all areas and all walks of life were welcome to this conference. And it said, I hope that as you look at their artifacts there, as you look at them, you will somehow see and find Jesus Christ and how he worked in the places that are represented. All of this is intended to bring us unto Christ. I hope you allow it to do that. Jesus Christ at the center of church history. And then they combine that with the scriptural phrase, I am in your midst. I think that, obviously it already happened, but they had all day Friday topics ranging from making peace with challenging questions in church history, that they might know him, helping students find the Savior in church history, and learning by study and faith. So really, it was something for everyone that really centered on Jesus Christ and our faith in him and how church history really is centered on him.
What I'm hoping and what I don't see, so if anyone knows, please email us, contact@theculturalhall.com. What I don't see is that the audio is available from these different like talks and speeches and, round tables and these different things. I hope that they are made available.
Because it said it was streamed, right? When the conference was going, you could stream it then. So I certainly hope they saved that and they've published it somewhere. I'm not sure.
I'm looking around for any sort of thing that would be like, and you can find these in a podcast that will be released weekly or anything like that. It doesn't seem like there is, but if someone knows, I would love to be able to listen to that. So many of these conferences, I'd love to go, right? I think it's so fun. I like the idea of focusing on Christ during, a time in our church history where you're like, geez, lots of stuff going on. Are we sure Christ is at the center of this?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't go on a Friday and a Saturday because guess what? I work for crying out loud. If I could just retire, I could lead the life I wanted.
Yeah. You don't need to work anymore.
Don't I?
No.
Am I living off my cookie residuals? What am I living off of? What is this?
I'm not sure. Actually, you probably do need to work.
Yeah,
So do I.
no, very much.
We got a few more years.
Very much. I got to the point in my early 30s where someone said, "You don't have retirement." And I said, "Excuse me, what now?" And
Yeah.
yeah, oops.
About that. Oops.
Yeah.
The final, I love this. It says, sometimes we can lose track of the Savior when we are looking at our history. I hope this will help people be able to see his presence, the miracles he performed, everything that he has done throughout our history, and know that he really is the center. He is directing the restoration and he uses imperfect people to do it, but he is always there to oversee and make sure that we're on the right path. So I love that.
We see this quite a bit, where the church will celebrate a milestone being in a particular country or on a continent or anything like that. This is just a brief story about a Micronesian island, and I think you say Kosrae. I'm not sure. Kosrae?
Koshrai, actually.
Kosrae. How do you know that? Have you been?
I looked it up because I haven't been and I haven't heard of it. And I'm like, what is this place? It's like Koshrai, like Shry is how you're supposed to say it. Anyway.
Oh, Kosrae. Okay. When missionaries and the church leaders first arrived there in 1985, they were met with hostility. The island had been dominated by one religion for over a century. The church slowly gained a foothold. The first baptism on the island took place in the summer of 1986. And there's just a great article about seeing the growth of the church and having a 40th celebration. Is it, news? Is it late breaking? Are we, no, it's not any of that. But I think it's cool to know that the church is tracking our history literally in all of these places and that there is always adversity that we're able to overcome. And it's fun to hear about those early saints in these particular places who go, oh, yeah, no, I found the gospel. And now they are the very roots of that
Right. On
church
that island.
establishment on that island. I think it's so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and they published the Book of Mormon in Kosraean, the language, in 2015, and there were only 300 members. And I actually found that remarkable that
Yes.
they would take the effort, and there wasn't even AI back then to translate it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
the effort was made even for just this small group of 300. And I think that's incredible, and it's just a testament to that no one's too small or unworthy of having that and having the access to that.
Well, if it so be that you labor, right, all your days, but bring one soul. That is remarkable because that's got to be a cost. Maybe it's a thing where you go, hey, if we do this, the potential to be able to grow, or maybe it just was like, listen, 300 people need it in their native tongue. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic.
Let's see. Did you look up how to say Bayes?
No, I looked up where it is. It's in the Philippines because I was like, where is it? But I didn't look up. I assume it's base. I don't know.
The church just doing a humanitarian project to be able to distribute micronutrient supplements to pregnant women and young children, strengthening local nutrition governance. Church doing it in Philippines, doing it in South America, doing it in Africa. I love hearing, reading, seeing the pictures from these things so much because this to me, less than like the Australian farms, less than the other things. And maybe you have to have one to have the other. But I love when it's like there was a need for these people to be able to sustain a regular life and we stepped in as opposed to, some of these other investment stuff.
It's really the best thing we can be doing is sustaining life. I love it.
So take me to this next story, would you please?
Yes, I will. New resources help saints love, share, and invite friends to activities and Sunday services. So this was a pretty long article, basically talking about how there's now new ward web pages where we can share activities and upcoming events, and you can easily be able to share links with people. And the whole purpose is to really be inviting other friends and family, not of our faith, to our activities and to help it be just an easier way, less intimidating way to invite them. And it specifically talked about not using unfamiliar terminology. So instead of saying like sacrament meeting, it says Sunday worship services. And instead of saying the Relief Society activity, it's the women's group or the children's group instead of primary. And I think that's great. I think it's a way to really invite those that maybe would be intimidated of coming to like a church specific thing. But, when I went to my sourdough making class a few weeks ago, there was nothing religious there. Like, let's invite our friends and neighbors to come to those things. And they're just making it a resource for wards to be able to use. I mean, as we're in this technology age, it's great. And I don't know exactly though where you have to create your own ward webpage. Do you know, Richie? I'm not sure.
So if you go, you can see if your ward is using your webpage. If you visit the church meeting house locator and then type the name of your ward in the search box. Likely, I would say probably this is an underused resource by most people. And then if you find your ward there, you can click the name of your ward and then click the activity sharing link to access your ward web page. If the link isn't available, ward leaders can request activity sharing through their stake president by emailing activitysharing@churchofjesuschrist.org. But I mean, we do a lot that is sort of inside baseball, right? It is very like, this is so Mormon centric. This is, to really get the full out of it, you're probably a member of the church. But we also do lots of things that could be like, hey, come and be around your neighbors, and we're sharing things from our garden that we harvested. They're
Yeah.
not Mormon things from your garden that you harvested. They're, delicious things, and you have delicious things. And I wish we did a better job of this. Sometimes I feel like we shoehorn in like a lot of religious things that make it so that people don't want to go because they don't really know what they're going to get.
Right. Right.
So I had a dear friend of mine who he and his son, not members of our church, went to a church thing because they were doing some service project, and they had gotten an invite on the door. And
Yeah.
they said, yeah, we would love to. And we're meeting at the church beforehand. So they went to the church and they were ready to do the service project, but it was like a 25-minute, like, devotional and testimony meeting and all these things before the service was actually to go be done.
Oh,
And they sort of both looked at each other and they're like, we understand and knew that going to the church there would be some religious element, and we're fine with it because they're Christian folks.
sure,
But
sure.
they're like, at the point when it's so much of it
Yeah.
and not disclosed as such, like, hey, everyone, this is going to be a 2-hour event, and the first hour is religious and the second is the actual service. Like, I think we do well to go, this is a religious thing. This is not as much a religious thing. This is just a thing that's taking place at the church, but everyone is invited.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you.
And share it through your ward webpage. I don't think my ward has one.
Yeah, mine doesn't either. I mean, it's probably going to take some time to gain traction, but there's going to be someone in a calling that's going to be like, "Oh, I want to do everything on the computer, and I'm going to make it happen." And it's great. It's a great resource that we can have. So,
This next story, a couple weeks old, but I find it to be absolutely fascinating. There was a chapel that was in Washington, D.C.
wait,
that,
can I interrupt you really quick?
yes.
It's about this article. This was, I think, the first articles of news I did with you was about this chapel. And it's up in the news again. I mean, this was
Uh-huh.
we talked about it like 9 months ago. Anyway, so I was reading it and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to learn more because I really want to go see it. So sorry, go on.
No,
But
you're fine.
we've come
Th-
full circle.
this is the only chapel. It's only been 9 months.
Yeah, maybe a
Really?
year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's got to be. I mean,
Maybe.
I feel like we talked about football last year. So maybe
Yeah, it was
tail
probably
end
like
of the
last
season.
October. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. You don't have to say sorry. Uh, this is the only chapel that ever had a Moroni on the top of it.
Yeah.
That Moroni now is in the Church History Museum in downtown Salt Lake. So you can see that Moroni if you would like to. But they want to make apartments out of this old church building. And I mean, okay. The thing that makes me sad as I look at the outside of this building, and there's, the account that the Pharaoh does with his other Facebook page where he shares chapels and things like that. I miss so very badly the unique and beautiful and structurally interesting chapels of yesteryear. And
Yes.
this, if you have not seen this, click on the link in the show notes. This is a building that will blow your mind. You're like, that's a what?
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
I hope that they will keep all of the elements if it ends up going through and being able to do it. Another church has been worshiping there for a while, but I know that it's kind of hit a roadblock.
Yeah, so this is what was different from when we talked about it last year is that sale was going through and there were people just trying to make sure the historical parts were going to be kept and the stained glass and all of those things. But it's this church, the Unification Church, seems like they were selling it to some investors, but there was a breakup in the church several years ago where there's some members of the church that said, no, our leader said it's always going to be within our church and it can never be sold. But then he passed away. And so people have been sleeping in it kind of as like squatting as a protest kind of to not let it be taken. These small group of worshipers then have been told that they could potentially buy it, but now it's like for $5 to $6 million, which,
Yeah.
I mean, that small group isn't going to be able to do that. But it kind of made me broke my heart a little bit. I'm like, I love that these worshipers who bought it from the church, 50 years ago, love their chapel and want to keep it within their church. And I'm hoping that they've come up with some sort of agreement as far as keeping it, historically still accurate, but, there's different plans that have been submitted for the apartments. And I really need to get out and visit it before it all gets torn. Hopefully it doesn't get torn down. I think that's really the heartbreaking part
I
of
don't
it.
think it'll get torn down. It's too unique. It's too, spacious, historic, whatever. I think you should
Yeah, they
buy.
do say they're reserving 2,000 square feet of community space inside the chapel that they plan on restoring. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be torn down, but hopefully they said there's no plans right now necessarily to keep the stained glass, anyway, but they're in the very beginning stages of the review process or whatever.
You should buy one of the condos. It's only $35,000 a square foot.
But can you imagine?
No,
Holy
I cannot
cow.
imagine. I cannot imagine that.
I don't understand.
People that know Salt Lake City and the University of Utah, there is the old ward that is just to the west of the. Why can't I think of what that performing? There's the Eccles, and then there's Kingsbury Hall. He said with a question mark. Yeah, that's Kingsbury Hall.
That's right. Yeah,
Just to the west of Kingsbury Hall, there's an old chapel that has been purchased and is turned into apartments, and they kept some of the religious elements of that. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I think we should do stuff like that. In fact,
Totally.
I think we should go, hey, we are the church. Instead of selling this to someone else to make a profit, we're going to take our church and make it condos.
Yeah, for sure. And if we still owned it, I'm sure that we probably would do something like that, but we haven't owned it for 50 years. So
yeah. That was a different time in our church history. We can skip the next story. Let's go to Canada, eh?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it's interesting. I actually didn't have time to read this fully, but they did say that all 10 provinces and 3 territories now make up the newly designated Canada area of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's the church's 24th geographically defined area worldwide. Previously, provinces and territories were divided among 3 North America areas, Central, Northeast, and West. I don't think I realized that. I just assumed Canada's the Canada area. So this enables, the First Presidency announced that it enables them to better provide leadership and support for all church members within Canada.
I like it because it shows the sort of growth of the church, and it allows Canada to be Canada, because issues for Canadians different than like if you're in Quebec and then you have, New York or whatever, also part of the area. That mission president is, or that area president is having to be, so different. But I mean, these are areas like there's the Utah South area, or maybe it's just Utah in general as an area, has area presidency of the church.
Probably, yeah.
I would imagine Arizona is part of like the West or South. I'm not sure.
I think we're the Southwest region.
I love being able to speak about areas of the church that I don't actually know. So let me.
We've got a lot of knowledge in this area. Clearly, we're very
let's see here. Okay, nope, that's not going to do it. I wanted to. There we go. Areas of the church. Perfect. There it is. So there is the Utah North, Utah Salt Lake City, Utah South. There is Idaho, North America West, North America Northwest, North America Southwest. Is that what you're probably in?
Yeah, that's what we're in.
North America Southeast, North America Northeast, North America Central, Mexico, Central America, Caribbean, South America Northwest, South America South, Brazil, Chile, Europe, Europe East, Asia, Asia North, Middle East, North Africa, Africa West, Africa Southeast, Philippines, and Pacific are the areas within the church.
Awesome.
Yeah, the more you know. And then the rainbow goes across. The more you know. Way to go, Canada. Good for you.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Have you ever been to the Great Arizona Puppet Theater?
No, and now I desperately want to go, now that my kids are probably out of that stage, but I think we'd have a great time. It looks awesome.
It's in downtown Phoenix. That's not too far from you.
No, like 30 minutes. It's not bad. There's really no reason to go to downtown Phoenix. It's not like a cool downtown.
No, it's not good. Why not?
There's just nothing. I mean, well, I guess there's the puppet theater I didn't know about. And, you go to the stadium, like the baseball, and you go to basketball, but like otherwise it's just office buildings. It's not, there's no cool downtown area. Like Salt Lake, you've got City Creek, you've got, it's beautiful.
There's not malls. No one has built a mall or
No,
a like around the stadium. There's not like stadium area, and you have great restaurants and that stuff.
no,
Hmm.
it's terrible. I think and I don't know if I've thought this since I've moved here 22 years ago. It's like, I don't know if it's because it's hot, people aren't outside. I think we go to Scottsdale. Scottsdale is kind of the place you go when you just want to go walk around and have a nice area to go to. So I don't know, it's weird. But this is making me want to go check it out. And yeah, so it says Tommy Cannon, it says, has one of the most unique and fun jobs in downtown Phoenix. He says dinosaurs, trains faces with sharks, trains with faces, sharks, and even Winnie the Pooh come to life before my very eyes. He says his occupation is the office manager and occasional puppeteer at the Great Arizona Theater. And what's interesting is the headquarters are in an old church building, right? A two-story Spanish colonial revival building designed by LDS Church architects Hiram Conrad Pope and Harold W. Burton. The Phoenix LDS Second Ward was dedicated in 1932 with seating capacity of 400 people. So it says the building featured an unusual design. The recreation hall was built perpendicular to the chapel so that those in both spaces could view speakers, which became standard in many LDS churches. And I'm not sure how long it was utilized. Oh, they sold it in 1972, it looks like, to the
Doesn't
Arizona.
sound like very long.
No, not very long at all. Well, I mean,
It's
1930
40
to
years.
72, yeah, 40 years. But I I didn't know this existed. So there is something cool to go see in downtown Phoenix, and I will definitely be adding this to my list of things to do.
It is a cool building. Have you seen it? I know in the stuff that I sent you, there is not a picture.
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't have time to look it up, but I need to.
Absolutely cool. And you would drive by it and go, that's an LDS church. Would have no idea.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it
Yeah.
is. It is very Spanish colonial for
Isn't that
sure.
cool?
Yeah,
We
that's
used to
super
have
cool.
churches like that.
Yeah. The interior pictures are also cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Find that in the show notes.
Yeah,
Make sure you check it out, you guys.
great.
All right. Well, we continue to just rally through news. Look at this. Look how much news we're getting done.
I know. And I'm going to have to share some news that you don't have on here too at some point. So,
We talking about Jody Hildebrandt?
yeah.
Let's go
Can we
now.
talk about
Let's
that?
do it. Let's do it now.
Okay, so last week, the latest documentary was released about Jody Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke, and I just finished it. I did fall asleep at the end of the last episode last night, but I've got to tell you what was so interesting. And I will say this really focuses on Jody Hildebrandt. I mean, it's like really background about her and her connections group and her therapy and what she did. And it had a lot of interviews with men and that she like counseled and end up someone said they think she has caused over 1,000 divorces. Like it just really
Jeez.
sounds like her therapy was pretty awful and pretty brutal. But what's so interesting is my Andy and I are laying in bed watching it the other night, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, that's so and so." I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if my friend wants to
Sure.
me to her. Anyway, our friend was on there as still picture as showing something from a connections meeting, a big meeting or whatever.
Wow.
It was my friend's husband. And I was like, we paused it, we rewound it, we're like, that's totally him. So we continue watching, and then we see my friend on there, and she's just like clearly like having a great time at one of these connections retreats, whatever. So I text her, these friends live in Utah, and I'm like, okay, I just was watching the Jody Hildebrandt documentary, and I need to understand why you were there. And she's like, oh, Molly. And she sent me back a whole long message, a couple of messages went back and forth. She's like, next time you're in Utah, let's go to lunch and I'll share more with you. But she was very early on, Jody Hildebrandt was wanting to teach people to become coaches, which is kind of, I think, what she did with Ruby Franke.
Sure.
And she asked my friend, they must have been in the same ward or something. And my friend is a phenomenal woman. So is her husband. They're like amazing. And Jody was like, could I teach you? Could I train you to become a coach? I won't charge you, but eventually I'm going to be charging. And so my friend was trained to become one of her like life coaches. And then shortly after that, Jody started charging $15,000
Jeez.
to learn from her. So Ruby comes in and pays the $15,000 to become certified. Anyway, my friend just said it very quickly became very evil. She's like, as soon as I saw her practices and her teachings going into a very disturbing way, she goes, I got out of there as quickly as I could. But
Mm.
she said that Ruby's two oldest, Sherry and the brother, I don't remember his name, would contact my friend all the time and ask for her help. And eventually Ruby was basically calling my friend like she's an evil person. You need to stay away from her. Anyway, just like it's funny when you see something like this going on and you're like, how do I know someone who
Yes.
I'm good friends with, but had no idea that part of her life? So anyway, I just found it interesting. John DeLynn was on it. You had a couple of anti-LDS people who were on it sharing their thoughts about Jodi Hildebrandt and just kind of pure evil. She's quite a person. And I think it's really interesting and would be interesting for people to watch because I
What's it
think
called?
Jody and Ruby, the cult something. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I don't remember,
No,
but
you're fine. I'm gonna look it up.
I will look it
Jody
up.
and Ruby's
Jody, oh my,
Ruby and Jody, a cult of sin and influence.
there you go. Yes,
Yes,
Ruby.
that is a title. My
Yeah.
gosh.
And I watched it on Hulu. I think it's on a couple of different places, but
Investigation Discovery is who produced it.
yeah. It
Wow.
was interesting. Well, and the other thing my friend said, she said literally had NBC News knocking on her door, like at her front door to get an interview with her, and she refused. She's like, I don't want anything to do with any of this. I don't want to be on TV. So she said to me, like, I'm happy to talk to you and tell you anything you want to know. So I've got all of my friends are like, ask her this, ask her this. We want to know all the things. Anyway, so interesting, but really interesting to get into that woman's mind a little bit and watch what was going down with her before Ruby was even a part of her.
How long is it?
It's 4 episodes. They're all like an hour, hour and a half each.
Pretty well
So
done.
very well done. I thought it was really well done. And like I said, it just gives you so many more details into her background and how, that all came to be. So
Okay. All right. All right. All right. I'll watch it.
yeah, you should.
Watch it now. I know what my wife and I are watching tonight when I get done working.
Yeah.
We like to
Yep.
calm down and sit and watch a little murder of some
Yeah.
sort.
Oh, me too. All the crime.
Yeah, all the crimes, murders, life ruining.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I'm between that and Top Chef. I haven't been on a Top Chef.
I
Weird.
wish I could get into a cooking something.
I don't know how. I think I was on an airplane and I watched like 6 episodes straight, and then it was like all I could do was watch it all day, every day in my house. My kids are like, please, mom, stop.
Yeah,
But
stop. Yeah, I'm not a bake-off guy. I'm not a chef or restore that restaurant that's gonna die or whatever. I'm not any of those. I wish I could. I wish I could get in them.
yeah, yeah, it's fun.
This is interesting. Manti Te'o. Do you know who this is without no, or maybe you read it a little bit, but do
Well,
you know who that is?
he's not the one that had the catfish. No, I
He
don't know.
is. He
He
is
is.
the one.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
So
All right.
so it is interesting. Notre Dame football player thought he was going to do really well in the NFL, didn't. Largely, some people thought because of all of the everything around the catfishing. There was the documentary of a couple years ago where he
Yeah.
actually comes face to face with this catfisher. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen that, I don't know what that's called, what that documentary is called, but it's really
Very
well done
interesting.
as well.
Yeah.
He has shared the gospel with one of his friends. Now he also is on, I want to say like the top ESPN or something. Manti Te'o. I'm looking this up as I
Oh,
go.
that's cool. Really quick, the documentary is Untold, The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist. It's really,
Yes,
really interesting. Really well done.
he is on NFL Network where he hosts Good Morning Football and Good Morning Football Overtime. So
Oh, good for
didn't do
him.
necessarily super great in the NFL, but has been able to land doing this stuff afterwards, right? Could have very easily allowed this catfishing thing to ruin his life. He's now married. I think he's got kids as well. Um, he was invited to speak at an event hosted by a company. This Ryan Boffman is who wrote this. This is an LDS Living. I didn't know him personally, but I admired his story and had heard that he was a gifted speaker. He graciously accepted and more than delivered. His remarks were authentic, thoughtful, and left a lasting impression on everyone in the room. A few months later, Manti and I met for lunch, somewhere between conversation and casual brainstorms. The idea came up for him to gain some experience in private equity. Before long, he joined our team. He shared an office with my colleague Bogdan Manoli. The two quickly hit it off, and Bogdan has since joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a whole just fascinating story. But here, and I mentioned this in the articles of news that I recorded yesterday, I think that I give people a hard time about this, but I have such massive respect, especially if you are a high-profile individual, if you
Mhm.
live your faith and
Mhm.
do and like people can see Christ through who you are and what you do, and people are, you're bringing people to church, or you're saying, hey, this is important,
Yep.
and you actually mean it. You're not doing it because all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
Like I love that can shine through, and that people do it. I don't do that very well. I'm not a high profile person by any means, but I
Yeah.
don't do that very well to share the gospel or to bring people, the faith or whatever. I just think
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Well, and I love this one part in the article. He says, as I sat down, I had a spiritual experience I will still struggle to fully describe. He said, the eyes of my understanding were open. In my mind's eye, I saw Manti baptizing Bogdan, and I saw myself confirming him. The impression was strong, clear, and surprising. Bogdan and I had never really talked about religion. Anyway, I agree with you. I just think when we can share our faith and share it through who we are, it's the best way, and it really does bring people closer to Christ and to the gospel.
A
It's
couple,
awesome.
yeah,
Oh, well, and I'm just going to say about Manti, like, and you kind of mentioned this, like, he really, in that documentary, I just remember feeling so sad for him and such compassion. And then for him to like own up to it and to be there and be like, this happened. And here I am, and I'm going to move on. And here he is, like, living a great life. It's awesome.
yeah, yeah. Two quick stories, and we'll end this thing. One, the church recognized by the Congress of the Republic of Colombia. This happened on the 24th of July. They were formally recognized by the government of Colombia as the church received the prestigious Order of Democracy. Simon Bolivar at the rank of Commander's Cross. This national honor awarded by the Congress of the Republic of Colombia acknowledges individuals or organizations that promote peace, freedom, and the well-being of society. So super cool that happened in the Republic of Colombia. And
Yeah.
then this story, I just think that this is cool because we hear about this like in the olden times. We hear about this in the Book of Mormon, but to know that these things continue. And there was another situation. This is not the one that we mentioned a couple weeks ago. This is in Sierra Leone, that 120 men, women, and children entered the waters of baptism in Moriba town, Sierra Leone. There's a gorgeous, beautiful picture of all of these people dressed in their baptismal whites. President and Sister Wyatt, who are the mission presidents for the Sierra Leone. Is he the stake president? Oh no, he's the mission president of the Sierra Leone Bow mission, and it's just incredible. 120 people, joining the church at the same time. It's
Yeah.
and you can read of their, and again, a link in the show notes. You can read about how like they had to make outfits for people to wear, and the sacrifice that each of them had to be able to be there, not only to accept the gospel and to be baptized, but just like the physical sacrifice to be able to do it. It's so cool. It's happening. It's happening today. We're doing it. The things.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Well, and this said that most of theirs are member referrals, like 80 to 90% of these were referrals from members. And I just love that. How amazing that people are sharing gospel so freely amongst their friends and neighbors. It's awesome.
Yep. Makes me feel like crap because I don't do it very well.
I know. Same.
We should do it better.
Yes, we
No
should.
shoulds. No shoulds. We do it
We
if we do it. We do it or we don't.
Yeah. No, I think anyway, I think I've shared with you that we've had three or four baptisms since we've opened our stores 5 years ago. And it's been really fun to see that. But it's not me, it's my staff. You know what I mean? But I think it all trickles down. And
I think
so-
it's a culture. I think you can
Yeah,
create a
it's a
culture of
culture.
people who care. And that
Right.
certainly comes from the top down. Because if you didn't care or weren't trying to like better the lives of people, you can guarantee that people aren't going to be open and feel safe to be able to like ask you about something or
Yeah.
ask someone else about something for sure.
Or to feel comfortable with sharing, you know what
Yes.
I mean? To feel like they are safe enough to share their beliefs and their feelings and thoughts. And anyway, that's
Yeah.
really cool to see. The teenagers these days, they're just top notch and willing to share all they have.
I would
So,
appreciate it if the next time you say instead of the teenagers these days, you just go to the age old, the kids these days.
yeah,
Kids these days.
yeah,
With your glasses, it is the better way to say the kids these days.
yeah, yeah.
They just don't understand, or it's a powerful when they ask, "In which time did you live?" and someone says President Russell M. Nelson, a hush will fall over the crowd. I love that quote that didn't actually ever get said, that people stop saying. We hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And if you weren't able to listen this week, you'll be able to listen next week.
Yeah, when the time comes, you'll be able to travel home in safety. In the meantime, go Tar Heels. Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel, Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger with a U will be saving a seat for you
On the back row
of the Cultural Hall.
Oh.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Cultural Hall show.